CIT first. The Center for Comparative and International Taxation is a research center under the aegis of Jindal Global Law School. This center critically engages with contemporary and fiscal issues of both domestic and international taxation. This center is a collective effort between faculty, members, and students of the JGLS who are involved in fostering discourse, debate, and discussions on matters pertaining to taxation and comparative taxation as well. The members of the center regularly engage in technical and research public consultations on matters relating to the taxation. And today, the center has given us a wonderful opportunity to engage with one of the great speakers of the day on digital taxation. Before welcoming Sir, I would like to give a brief introduction about him, although he needs no introduction, but it is indeed customary. It is my distinct pleasure and privilege to stand before you. Sir, you have been a legal powerhouse and managing partner at SK Attorneys with a stellar background in international tax, corporate law, criminal law, white-collar crimes, and many more other fields of law. He brings a wealth of knowledge to the table. Sir, your journey in law began with earning a Bachelor of Law from Symbiosis University, followed by a Masters of Law from University of London. These academic pursuits laid the foundation of his impressive career. Currently, at SK Attorneys, Sir oversees operations in New Delhi and Mumbai office, steering the firm through myriad of legal arenas such as mining, oil and gas, corporate transaction, and tax law as well. Prior to this, he held a pivotal role as the head of tax and global business at FB Attorneys in Tanzania, specializing in tax law, corporate structuring, and international taxation as well. His expertise doesn't stop there. Sir owned the skills at renowned firms like KPMG India and Singhania Co. in London, where he dwelled into international tax litigation and transaction advisory. He has been showered with various accolades, including 40 Under 40 Rising Star Award and Lex Falcon Award. Not to mention, he has been recognized as India's one of the leading lawyer for Gen Next and a standout white-collar crime. Sir actively engages with various institutions and conferences, sharing his insights as a judge, guest speaker, and panelist. In short, Advocate Saurabh Kumar Sir is not just a legal luminary, but a force driving innovation and excellence in legal landscape. Everyone, please join me in extending a warm welcome and an enthusiastic one to Advocate Saurabh Kumar Sir. We eagerly await wealth of knowledge and wisdom he is about to share with us. Sir, the floor is all yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible? Yeah. So thank you, Dhruv, for the introduction, and thank you, Professor Sana, for having me here. So I want this session as more interactive, and you can ask anything, any question, and it's always good to hear from you, from your side. Before I introduce the concept of equalization levy, I want to understand how many of you want to pursue your career as a tax lawyer? Oh, quite a number then. Wonderful. And what makes you choose this taxation? Yeah, what's your name? Yeah. So what make you already, which year are you in? Okay, wonderful. So you've already decided. And what made you decide?
So I did tax internship, and obviously Mrs. Sana also taught me, and I think tax is interesting because it's complex, but it also keeps changing, so it always makes you think, especially like digital taxation, the scene that's happening and how the law is changing in terms of pillar 1, pillar 2.
And how good are you with the numbers?
Recently, but I don't think numbers is an essential.
Exactly. So when we also thought of taking tax as a career, we were always very scared with the numbers. And in India, so I went to Queen Mary. I was the only student who did LLM in international tax from entire Asia. And I was the only one, and I think University of London has 5 or 6 colleges. So I was the only, a lot of people, scared me that, if you go back to India, numbers, and I was always very poor in maths. from the beginning. So I never wanted to come and start doing maths again. But yeah, obviously when you talk about international concept of tax, it's completely different from what we generally work on the numbers and all those kind of things. So equalization levy. So what do you understand? I mean, has anybody done some background check on what is this tax, what is this levy, whether it's a tax or levy? And what is the difference between tax and levy? And why it is called equalization levy, not tax? Anybody from the backside? Anybody has heard about this concept? I mean, you can answer in layman language. I mean, it's always good.
Significant economic presence in the digital space, for example, Netflix, and I think equalization levy is also termed as Google tax.
And why is it termed as Google tax?
Because it is predominantly restricted to the space of it is predominantly restricted to the digital space, and companies and entities which are prominent in the digital space. That's why.
Okay, okay. So yeah, so you are right. It's primarily called Google tax, and because the concept came from European countries. For example, lot of tech companies, and with the mobile internet growing and all, lot of tech companies have become big. Like for example, Amazon. Amazon is one of the largest company in the world. So it's asset light companies. Like they do not have any factories or manufacturing units and all that. So, and today it brings you convenience. Like right now you're sitting in the classroom and you can do anything and everything, like right from shopping, right from, watching movies on Netflix or Amazon and everything. So it makes your life easy, but at the same time, with the changing in scenario of business, a lot of difficulties were there how to tax them. Because see, every country or every state has a sovereign right over taxation. So if you're making money, for example, Google tax. So Google had this presence in Ireland, which is a very low tax zone, we call it. I mean, 10% tax in Dublin. So most of the European companies had their headquarters in Dublin. So you make business across Europe. So like I'm staying in UK when I was a student, I order something from Amazon. Amazon delivers at my hostel or my residence in UK, and I pay money in UK. So generally it's a revenue for UK government. But because there is no physical presence or any employee presence in UK for Amazon, the money would be taxable in Ireland, and Ireland has 10% of tax. So obviously it's under low, and there is no withholding tax concept. So a lot of things started happening from India perspective also. And 2001, 2002, I think CBDT. I hope you guys know what is CBDT. Central Board of Direct Taxes. So Central Board of Direct Taxes is the highest authority in India for taxation. So anything income tax department, and it comes under Ministry of Finance. I hope you guys are aware. So they form a panel to do their research and come out with a solution that how do we do, and it was happening across India, or like across globe, because every country, and especially if you see the pattern, most of the tech giants are from US. So US was always not in favor of this kind of taxes, because their companies who are based out of US would have to pay extra taxes across the globe, and everybody would want to get the money on their side. So in 2016, government. So I'll just give you a background of digital economy. So in 2020, 137 countries out of 148 countries, 41 countries in the OECD. So I hope you know the meaning of OECD also, right? Anybody? And what OECD does, right? I hope everybody has heard about OECD. As is international tax students, I mean, that is the first word we learn, OECD, because they make policy for across the globe. People, policy makers sits together from different countries, having their own interest. Have you heard about DTA? Right? What is the full form of DTAs? Okay. How many kind of DTAs you see? Anybody? Anybody from the audience? Sorry? There are 3 different kind of DTAs. Anybody want to try? Yeah, please.
Comprehensive, synthesis, comprehensive.
No, I am asking on type of models.
OECD and UN model.
Okay.
And you have a US model.
And the third one is the US model. Where are we standing?
UN model.
So we are mix of both. We are mix of both. UN model. So see, India has always been very conservative when it comes to law. So they want to take the best features of everything. And which section of our income tax talks about DT and all? 19, subsection 3. That anything which is more beneficial to companies would prevail over domestic income tax or DTA. So whatever is more beneficial to a individual or companies, that will prevail. So this is the basic that, 137 of 148 countries, 41 countries, framework and base heroes. So BEPS and all, you have heard about it, right? So they sat together and they said that, lot of big companies like Google, Yahoo, Amazon, and all these companies are making billions of dollars, but without giving any revenue. And every country would want to take some pie of the profit. So tax is always on the profit, right? Tax is always on the revenue, right? After your calculation, P&L, balance sheet, and all those things, you would have. So everybody would want some kind of revenue from those companies. So OECD coordinated the multilateral concerted approach originally intended to be implemented with effective from 2023, but now delayed until 2024, with the framework designated to ensure that multinational enterprises pay a fair share of tax where they operate and they pay a minimum corporate tax, right? So whoever is working in any country. So there are 2 kind of source and residence, right? So if you are a resident of a country like say a US company, and a US company doing business in India and generating revenue, so that becomes a source country. So there is always a conflict that who gets the benefit of those revenues. And every country wanted to shift their base from one country, higher tax country to the lower tax country. And that's why you have seen Mauritius, Singapore, and all those kind of concepts. And a lot of litigation had happened, a lot of historical. Mauritius has now come to a conclusion because they signed a DTA in 1982-83 when India business concept was very different. Now in last post 1992 when India opened their FDI and all, things changed, but still 72% business work routed through Mauritius. And I'll give you a peculiar example of Mauritius. If you go to Mauritius, there's a lot of companies which are just on paper. So you spend $500 and you open a company in Mauritius and you route your investment into India, or when you repatriating your profits to so there was no capital gain tax. So any company from India want to take out their money out of the country, like repatriation of profits. So they used to get those benefits. And a lot of dialogue happened between Indian government and Mauritian government that, this is not very favorable tax regime and they wanted to change it and all those. So I have handled cases where a US company derives profit from India, they shift the money to Mauritius because to take the benefit, and same day that money is routed to US. So there is no substance. So even income tax department understood that, it's just on the paper. And there is no, same day, how can you transfer your money on the same day? So then they started having the concept of substance test. That, you show your substance in Mauritius and take the benefit of treaty. And then a lot of litigation happened, a lot of, you must have heard about Vodafone case. One of the best case, I have read through, and interesting, 252-page judgment, and I think I've read thousands of times, and still I fail to understand the judgment in totality. And Mr. Harish Salve Sahab, he has done a justice to that judgment, nobody else. And you'll not believe, one of our professor from Queen Mary was there with him, assisting him in the Supreme Court, Mr. Philip Baker. So Philip Baker is one of the god of international tax. And we are fortunate enough that, he taught us when I was studying in Queen Mary. So he was sitting there, assisting him. Lot of concept of international tax law was first discussed, 20th January 2012, the judgment came. And because I was working with KPMG, so we were representing Hutchison. So Hutch Mobile, I don't know if you guys were very young that time. So Hutch Mobile was in India. They sold their operation to Vodafone. And the deal happened outside India. So non-resident to non-resident. So they thought that, there is no tax implication. So they did not pay tax and they left the country. Because Hutch did not had any presence. So they went after Vodafone, which has bought a running operation in India under 195(3), and then they went that, you have to pay taxes. And then a lot of deliberation happened. That is one of the peculiar tax case where it went to Supreme Court, again back to the assessing officer, and then again it went to double litigation up to Supreme Court. And amazing judgment. As a students of tax law, you must read that judgment, and not once, at least 20 times, 30 times you will understand. Beautifully explain the concepts. I remember there were trucks of books. Used to go to Supreme Court every day along with Mr. Harish Salve, every day. And he used to open the entire books, used to come in Supreme Court, court number 1, where Chief Justice sits, and there was discussion. So beautiful. So tax as a concept, apart from numbers, something, and very evolving. Every day, digital tax. Nobody even thought about digital tax 5 years, 10 years back. A lot of things happened post-COVID. COVID, maybe we were not allowed to step out of the house. Then we got used to delivering everything. Today we are so used to it that, everybody would have all the apps, Amazon and everything. And, even if you're sleeping, you can just go order, next day goods come. If you want to replace, there is a replacement policy also, all those things. So this is where digital has become part of everyone's life, and not only like young students or working professional, even the people who are retired. They are more prone to, this digital tax, digital, uses of, they want to have everything on the fingers, because now they're living away from kids, they're living away from a lot of people in isolation, and also, so for them, it has become very convenient. Right, and speed has gone very good. Earlier, now Zomato can deliver things to you in 12 minutes, right? And I handle a lot of cases when there is an accident, on this guy is rushing on the bike for 12 minutes, or Domino's 30-minute promise. So when they meet with an accident or something, police register an FIR against those companies. So a lot of nuisance going on. So Pillar 2 will just talk about, basic concept. If anybody wants to ask anything, please feel free. And you can ask anything. And I want interactive session. I'm not just here to, give a talk and say bye, and that doesn't help. You have to make it more interacting, interesting, and then you'll start liking the subject. Otherwise, for most of the people, I used to sleep on the back seat of my LLM days initially, because for me, tax was very different thing. But once you start understanding the concept, once you start discussing, it becomes very interesting. So global digital taxation. Globally, the digital economy is growing. We all know, we just talked about that. There are companies like nowadays, software, gaming, you need flight booking, anything, movies. Earlier, we used to go to movie theater to watch movies. Nowadays, I don't know, I watch one movie a year. I don't know about you guys, but yeah, I don't have 3 hours to go sit in the movie hall, and so I download movies in my iPad, and whenever I'm in the flight, I just try to do that. So I don't know how many people now still love to go back to the movie theaters and with your friends and all those kind of thing. Very less people now. But yeah, so A and B, Make My Trip, these are all big invention happened in tech companies. Taxation of this cross-border e-commerce transaction has been a challenge for many jurisdictions worldwide, including India, due to the location of the supplier, absence of any local physical presence, difficulties in characterizing the nature of the transaction, administrative challenge in tracking and collecting taxes, and issue of asserting taxing jurisdiction. So how does this tech companies make revenue? Anybody? So tax comes when there is a revenue, when there is a income. So how does this tech come? Like for example, Amazon. So Amazon is selling goods, it's easy. What about Facebook? What about Twitter? How are they running such a big operation across the globe? What is their revenue model? Anybody? Advertisement. And sorry?
Sharing of data.
Yeah. What else? So a lot of nuisance also comes with this kind of things. So today you have a Facebook account. You're posting everything, right? From what you are eating, who you are partying with, like going out with friends, traveling with family. So your entire life is on, platform where anybody, and today like Instagram, everybody is crazy about, posting each and everything of their life. So, and they trace those things. They trace your habit. So example, you go on app or go on Google and search for something like shoes or anything, like a shirt or anything. And after 5 minutes, you started getting a lot of suggestions, even on Facebook, even on Google, even everywhere. And we are dealing with this kind of thing, so we understand. But for a lot of people, like he searched something like half an hour back and he started getting options. Like if Adidas is having another option, Nike is having, Puma is having. So these are very new concept for a lot of people. So same way, it was a challenge for tax authorities. Like India में आप Amazon से ले रहे हो. Amazon doesn't have a legal entity in India. For example, Facebook. Facebook, whatever you post in India, everything is going to US. So imagine somebody creating nuisance on your Facebook, putting something and tagging you or something. You cannot even remove it in India. So you have to send a request to their US group and they will take action from there. So imagine, billions of followers are there on Facebook. And imagine US is getting those requests on everyday basis. So how chaotic, how unclarity, and same thing on the tax side. So government said that, you are making revenue, you are selling shoes, and you're getting commission, all those kind of things. So where is my revenue? And they said that no, because we do not have a physical presence in India or in Europe, we are not liable for any tax. So then a lot of brainstorming happened that how. So India came with the concept of, so these are all basic, so bring clarity this regard the government. So there was a CBDT panel which discussed about how to tax these digital companies. So in 2016 budget, Equalization levy was give effect and it came into with payment made for a specific. So this levy came for a payment made to a non-resident, not to Indian companies. And initially it came that an Indian company was liable for the compliance perspective. So imagine if I am paying something to Google, and when I was on the way, I was talking to the tax head of Amazon. He's a friend of mine, so he's just talking that how this works. So he said that earlier, 2016, it was that, if I am making payment to Amazon or Google or anybody, I deduct 6% and I pay to government authority. Because reaching out to a non-resident company, it's fine. Reaching out to a non-resident company is a very difficult task. Nowadays, it's good that, income tax authorities have opened their offices in Dubai, UK, US, because there are a lot of tax evasion and all that. So nowadays, if you see, recently ED has opened an office in Dubai, because all these guys who are doing crime in India, they run away to Dubai or UK. So government also become very smart. That okay, we'll set up office so we'll give you a home service even outside India. So basically that was the concept. And nowadays, because Dubai has been always a tax haven for everybody, they run away, easy visa, 2 hours, 2.5 hours, you reach Dubai. So they income tax also. So see the involvement of people, see the even thought process of the government that, they started their operation in Dubai. So what is permanent establishment, if anybody? From the back side. So what there? Yeah, black t-shirt. Yeah. Yeah, I'm talking to you. What is permanent establishment? Anybody? हाँ प्लीज भाई एक ही आदमी बोल रहा कोई मतलब I saw so many hands raised up and I said that when you're taking tax as a career. And tax as a career, if you don't know permanent establishment, then there is no point taking tax. Anybody else? Please.
I mean the place where the business is being carried out. Like they will designate a particular country where the business will say that this is my permanent establishment. I'll carry out my business from here. I'll be carrying out my business from here, and therefore the tax that should be paid, it should be paid at the place of my permanent establishment.
Okay. And under what article of DTA it is covered?
I am not sure. I have not studied it.
Fine. Okay. So permanent establishment is one of the biggest concept, and you will see thousands of judgment from High Court, Supreme Court, AAR, ITAT, and all. So this is global concept. So if anybody is doing business in India, what profit does it attribute in India? A famous law firm had a case on P. Linklaters, Clifford Chance. So they used to send their people to India to do providing legal services on Indian side, and they were sitting here for more than, say, like 4 months, 6 months, a year. So when you cross 180 days, 182 days in any country, you are liable to be taxed, right? And a lot of countries have their taxation on source basis or residence. So India, like you are a Indian citizen or Indian resident, you will be taxed at a global, whatever global income you have. I don't know how many people have seen the revised tax returns. So they are now asked to share their foreign assets, foreign businesses, foreign bank accounts. I've seen a lot of cases where they've forgot, even if you don't have a penny in your foreign bank account, you have to mention that foreign bank account, and if you do not, there's a prosecution happening by income tax department. Even if it doesn't have any penny in your foreign. So as a student, imagine I opened my bank account in HSBC UK for convenience. Today I'm not operating, but still I have to put it in my ITR. So government is now tracking you everywhere. So permanent establishment has a concept that whatever profit a company is attributing to a country should pay taxes. And it's a very, मतलब P पे आदमी 5 दिन 10 दिन तक lecture दे सकता है. It's a very in-depth topic. So I would not want to go. So let's restrict to this 2016. So government introduced this levy. So what is the difference between levy and tax? And why this levy, not tax? Anybody? And I would give a personal treat to that person if somebody answer that. Guys, यार इतनी देर तो गूगल करके बता देते यार. So the difference between levy and tax was that, when you have this DTAs give you credit for the taxes paid outside your country, residence country, but only on taxes, not a levy. So this is a very well thought that, why this is called levy, because section 1050, so if you read section 1050 of income tax, it talks about that, any taxes paid in India would be given credit as per DTA in your home country. But it doesn't talk about levy. So imagine some companies like say Google pays 2% or 6% tax levy in India. They will not get a credit back home. So it's an expense for the companies. So it's a fixed cost for every company running such kind, non-resident companies running such kind of businesses in India or making or generating revenues in India. They have to pay 2% on gross income. Again, what is gross income and net income? Sorry? Yeah, I need somebody else to participate. Anybody from the backside? Or you have not ever heard about this concept? Have you heard about gross and net? Have you? थोड़ा तेज है अंदर. Anybody can answer with this from the backside again? Very simple terms. Yeah, please. And try, even if you're wrong, it's fine. I mean, we all go very wrong. I mean, I understood tax very late.
So gross income is basically the total. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, gross income is the total revenue earned, and net is after the legal, the legal obligations and everything is done. What is left out, after you deduct the depreciation and other components. So the last thing that on which the tax is levied, it's the net income and not the gross income. If I am.
Okay. So yeah, at the back also. You wanted to say something? So see, net is after your, minus your expenses, taxes, operation costs, other taxes like indirect taxes and all those things. And on the other side, it's whatever revenue you're making. I mean, it's the first bottom line that, whatever 100 rupees banaya tha, 100 rupees mein, you'll not get any deduction. You have to pay 2% or 6% on those gross. So that is called gross. So these are the concepts that, as a tax lawyer, you would hear, and you have to remember this. These are very interesting topics. There are a lot of judgments even on gross income, net income, even on individual taxation, what is gross income, what is net. So these are the basic principle of taxation which you all, whoever wants to pursue as a career in tax, you need to remember. So 2016, 6% equalization levy that, whatever you do business, 6% is government's revenue, no matter where you're working from, what country you have your servers or you have your incorporation and all those kind of things. The levy was certain specified service. So see, 2016 when this levy came, it was only focused on advertisement revenues, not on something on sale of goods or services in India, because it was an initial concept. So they restricted to the revenue. जैसे election time में बहुत सारे लोग will do polling on Facebook, on Twitter and all those. So there is a revenue model, right? So initially 2016 6% covered equalization levy only on advertisement. कि आपका advertisement से जो income आ रहा है उस पे आप 6% दो. And 2016 it was the obligation to pay taxes or deduct taxes was on the person who is making the payment. So say Indian companies, and the reason for it is that income tax again cannot go and hold anybody sitting outside. So it's easier to get hold of. So example, Jindal is running some advertisement on Google, on Facebook. So tomorrow it's very easy for income tax authority to send a notice to Jindal University or Jindal business houses and everything. It's very easy. Then giving notices, because then again if I send a notice to US or UK, it will be extraterritorial jurisdiction where I do not have jurisdiction to tax. And this is a very wide concept. A lot of businesses I have advised are operating into high seas. Well, I was recently advising a crypto companies. So crypto companies came to me and they're like, how do we operate to safeguard ourselves from taxes, and secondly labor laws, because these are very tech savvy guys, high technical guys working on this cryptocurrencies and all that. So what we advise that you hire a ship in high seas. for 365 days. People fly down, helicopter लिया, helicopter से आए, and they are so, मतलब उनके लिए एक helicopter और ये सब चीज़ें are very small thing, मतलब they are minting billions of USD. So for them, so what they do, they stay in the ship for 3 months, go back, महीना 2 महीना अपना करा, उसके बाद वापस आ गए, तो about 182 days. I mean in India also a lot of people from outside today also comes to India, operate. So 182 days is 6 months in a year, right? So when you cross 6 months, so they go back to their home country for 5 days, 10 days on the name of vacation or whatever. Then again they come back. So to defeat this base source related jurisdiction of tax. So a lot of things happen. Government also got smart that okay, so they now focus on your movement. So see today every government agencies have collaborated together. पहले income tax used to works on standalone basis, GST works on standalone basis, ठीक है? Immigration works on a standalone. Now there is an exchange of data between this government. So your movement can be tracked, and obviously with AI and with digital kind of things, you carry your mobile, all those kind of things. So 2016, it was on the payer that you deduct 6% and then pay to whoever you want to pay. 2020, there was another reason. So in budget 2016, FM proposed to amend section 40 of the income tax 1961 so as to allow the expenses and deduction on which such equalization levied impossible only for the year which such levy has been paid to the government. So again in budget 2016, FM proposed to amend section 40 of the income tax as to allow the expenses deduction. So when you're running business, you deduct to arrive at the net tax. So foreign provider will be receiving the side of the levy and amendment has been provided in section 10. So again, I was talking about section 10, right? On which adding a new section, subsection 50 of the IT Act, which ensure that income on such equalization levy has already been deducted and paid well shall be considered exempt in India. Hence, the payment that is already made by the recipient of the specified services on behalf of the non-resident e-commerce company could be claimed by the non-resident e-commerce company through filing of income tax return. That was the earlier concept. So currently, not all services are covered under the ambit of equalization levy. The following services: online advertisement, any provision for digital advertising, space of facilities or services for the purpose of online advertisement. As and when other services are notified, included in the. So who notifies any new stream of tax in India? Which department? CBDT, exactly. So CBDT through circulars or notification, they come with those kind of day to day. So you can't amend law on daily basis, right? And especially the fiscal laws. So equalization levy is a direct tax which is withheld at the time of payment by the service recipient. Chapter 8 of the Finance Act 2016 provides for equalization levy as a direct tax at the rate of 6%. Then again, there is a twin condition to be made for liable to be equalization levy. The payment should be made to a non-resident service provider. So this is the most important condition to fall under equalization, that you are making payment to a non-resident company. If you are making a payment to an Indian company, even if Google register their entity in India, and if you are paying payment to Indian Google entity, that will not be liable to this levy. The annual payment made to service provider exceeds ₹1 lakh in one financial year. So what is financial year? Anybody? पीछे किसी को नहीं. So what guys are you interested in? Like sports or what? I mean, you can go and do that. I mean, I'm happy to do that. It's a Friday evening. You can go play football or cricket. I'm okay with that. Okay, wonderful. So generally, globally, calendar years are same as financial years. Most of the countries in the world, like UK and everything. But India, because हमारे हिंदी में भी कैलेंडर होते हैं, फिर we have different crop session and all those things. So business start from so 1st of April to 31st of March of the next year. So these are the example if you can just make sense to you. So yeah, so this is the second leg of the equalization levy which had expansion in 2020. So scope of equalization levy was expanded by Government of India in the Finance Act 2020. So any amendment into tax law, how does it happen? Anybody? Have you ever heard about budget speech? How it is introduced? What is finance bill? How does it come into effect into income tax act? मैं पीछे से चाहता हूँ, पीछे किसी को नहीं पता है? Sorry. Yeah, guys, at the back, anybody? How budget works? Do you know budget day? Have you seen finance minister carrying a suitcase? And there is a halwa making process also. And it's not funny, it's actual. I mean, if you go 2-3 days before the budget is generally on 1st of February every year. So before that, they have a big halwa making process where and on the day of budget, finance minister will carry a suitcase with her and they give presentation through finance bill. And finance bill, after discussion and getting assent of the president, it all so everything in income tax happens through finance bill and finance act. The equalization levy, so in 2022, from 6% it was made 2% on your income, total gross income, right? And the scope was expanded to e-commerce companies supplying goods or services in India. So, and another big change which happened in 2020 is that now the payer was, earlier payer was liable to deduct payment and give it to government. Now government said that, every foreign company providing services in India, even if you are not registered in India, you have to go to government, take PAN number. I hope you know PAN number. I mean, right? So government mandatory made this thing that, everybody has to take a PAN number, pay 2%. So now the liability of paying this levy was shifted from Indian companies to foreign companies. So every foreign company, I have to comply in India. I have to go and apply for PAN. And this is how even Amazon, I was just talking. So they have taken PAN number for foreign companies, foreign Amazon. So Amazon also I would have 100 of different entities name. So depending on which, and when you are buying something, you will not understand because these are all happen at the backside. So if you are buying something from Amazon, you will not know that this is an entity of US or UK or India, right? So the equalization levy is levied at the 2% on any amount received or receivable by an e-commerce operator. So from advertisement company to e-commerce operator. So a lot of other companies came into this purview of taxation. To a person resident in India, any person using a IP address situated in India. So why this IP address thing came into picture? Anybody? Nahin? So IP address, this is your machine, right? This is your phone. So IP address makes sure that who is using this machine. So every laptop, computer, any digital device has a peculiar IP address, and basis on that, you tax those persons, right? To a non-resident in specified circumstances. Sale of data collected from a resident Indian in the form of, or a form of person who uses IP address situated in India. So this is just an example, you can just go through. If anybody want to ask something, happy to. Yeah, please.
Along the lines of how people try to avoid taxation when it comes to cryptocurrency.
Sorry, Shani.
Actually, two questions.
Yeah, please.
Firstly, I didn't quite understand what levy means.
So see, there are different way to tax.
No, so what I've understood is it's something over and above the tax. Is it so?
No, no,
or?
no. So there are taxes, there are levy, there are cess.
Yeah.
So even when you're buying some goods, there is something called cess also. Even when you go to restaurant, you are charged service tax or service charges, right? So cess and levy are in a form of a taxes, not directly showing in your balance sheet or in your income tax return. It's a levy by government.
So is it compulsory? Is it a compulsory thing?
So in
Because
this
and is
way-
it meant for a specific service? Like cess is
Yeah.
meant for education and you all
Yeah.
that. So
So education, there is a green tax, green cess. So see, it's all names, different names given by government, and then it falls into that kind of category.
so it's essentially the same thing.
Yeah. So levy, I told you in the beginning only, levy was put because if you talk about DTA, DTA talks about credit of taxes paid in other country, not credit of levy paid in another country. So if you pay taxes in India, you can take credit back in UK. So you sit, you compare the DTA and say, example, you have paid 40 rupees or 40 pound in India as a tax. You go back to your UK balance sheet and you can deduct those 40%. And then so your profit goes up because you have already paid. So expenses and taxes and all those things are deducted, and then you come on net taxes and net profit, and basis on that you pay your taxes. So levy, it's not there in income tax DTA, and you cannot take any credit. So there is no cost. I mean, tomorrow, then government will start fighting. UK will write to India that, I will not give credit or I want credit. So all those things, to avoid those kinds, they put the 2%, I mean, gross on 2%. I mean, you do whatever in your UK balance sheet, I am least bothered. आप मेरे को 2% दे दो और ग्रॉस इनकम 100 रुपया बना रहे हो 100 पे 98 आप ले जाओ 2 रुपये मेरे को दे दो बाकी आपका कैलकुलेशन करना है expenses and all, it's your headache. I don't want to get to that level. So that's why it's a given, it's a very unique term. Generally, it's Google tax, right? But name was just for that nobody should come to ask for credit. Because credit, again, asking for credit is another lengthy process between countries. So nobody would want कि 2% के लिए हम 4 साल लड़ाई कर रहे हैं. No, it doesn't make business sense.
And also you mentioned, sir, that there are instances where like the people dealing with cryptocurrency, when they deal on high sea basis, business on high seas. So how does the taxation side pan out there, and what happens to the taxpayer in this case?
So see, high sea, there is nobody responsible for taxation. And that's why we advise the client.
No, so I'm saying in a
And
crypto.
see, cryptocurrency में more than high sea or tax, they are more of an employment and legality or illegality. Like Indian RBI is not even yet. I mean, you are dealing with cryptocurrencies totally at your own risk. So imagine you have a crypto wallet worth 10 lakh rupees, 20 lakh rupees, but it's not yet legally recognized. So tomorrow you want to exchange in hard cash, you cannot do that.
So, but we're being taxed 30% plus 4 on, right?
Still, this concept is growing. I mean, how many people in the room have made any profit or any income from cryptocurrency? It's all still on virtual. I mean, we're very happy that, I have 5,000, I have 50,000, 5 lakh rupees cryptocurrency worth. But nobody in actual, you are dealing, it's called mining, right? So you're mining into that. So it's there in virtual, but nobody has made money out of it. No money has hit your bank account. See, it's all about real money.
So, but if you're advising a client to operate on high seas, it also raises questions about certain aspects. Like, for example, I would like to know where my money is, what is it being used for, and that's...
Nobody knows about that. And that's why everybody still very, confused about, investing or government recognizing those kind of currencies. Because you never know the source.
So what happens to the charter which talks of an honest taxpayer?
So it's floating in high seas. Go and find people. And more from tax, as a business, I'm ready to pay taxes. But there's a lot of issues with the employment. A lot of issues with legality, illegality from central bank, like which is RBI in India.
Right.
I mean, tomorrow, imagine if I open an office in Mumbai and I started doing cryptocurrency business. Tomorrow, some ED will come to my office and, because they also don't understand the concept. When I represent my case in the court, court also has zero visibility because there is no principle or there is no regulation yet in place. So it's a very confused state when you talk about cryptocurrencies. It's very technical and nobody would give you, and no litigation has come up yet.
So does equalization levy apply in such scenarios as well? Can the equalization levy be applicable for such transactions?
No, but are they giving services? Are they giving services or selling any goods? Well, have you ever used cryptocurrency to buy or sell anything in India? No, so I'm asking anybody, like there will be a lot of tech people here. So I want to ask, has anybody bought anything with cryptocurrencies? Like laptop, phones, bike, cars, anything? But anybody? I mean, we talk about cryptocurrency, it looks very good that, we know about the new currency. But that is not cryptocurrency. So I was recently advising Dream Level. I hope you guys have heard about Dream Level. Yeah, please. Yeah, piche bhaiya, piche. Yeah.
So where you put your cryptocurrency in the BitPay card and you start buying clothes. So there's Binance, there's a cryptocurrency that you can just liquidate once you've made money and then you use it for clothes. And not just that, like if you take Binomo, it's a trading app which is not regulated by SEBI. So for that you don't pay tax, but for cryptocurrencies such as Binance and all that, you end up paying taxes. Let's say you sell 3 of them, you get a tax notice. If you're making more than 50,000 rupees, you get a tax notice from the tribunal.
Okay. So see, those kind of transactions are always routed through your bank account. Right? There is a difference between global cryptocurrency and the kind of currency you are talking about in India where, I mean, even Dream 11 has started this kind of, but they are all related. So see, biggest problem for Reserve Bank of India or income tax was to trace the source of the fund. Right? I mean, fund can route through different entities or different countries, and it can go up to terrorism, drugs, human trafficking. So see, unsolicited monies across globe go for all these kind of fundings. So that's why government want to, I mean, I don't know if you guys have heard about a concept called corporate wheel in Companies Act, right? And very interesting concept. I mean, I find it personally very interesting concept, right? So company is a separate legal entity, but when there is a fraud or when there is a beneficial ownership. So what is beneficial ownership for you guys? I hope I'm not delaying this lecture. Okay. So what is beneficial ownership? Again, nobody? Yeah, please. Who runs the company? What if I'm not running the company, I'm a sleeping partner and I'm just concerned about the profit? Will I be a beneficial owner? Yes or no? So running a company, I mean, running Sana I can do a company. But somebody, third person, is behind the scene, he's doing nothing. We call him sleeping partner. And he's getting the benefit. I mean, I don't know if you guys have heard about this press note 2 of 2020. Has anybody heard about this press note? It came into during COVID that any neighboring country doing business with India or acquiring anything has to take prior approval of Ministry of Finance. And you know why this happened? Because in COVID, all the businesses were down. China had money. So they wanted to globally expand and acquire companies. India, they acquired 1% in HDFC company, HDFC Bank. And 1% in HDFC Bank could be billions. And that's where government, and they did not specifically put China in the circular, they put any neighboring country. So Bangladesh and Pakistan never do business with us, or they are too small. Nepal is too small. So it was directly or indirectly targeted to China, because all the beneficial ownership were rooted to China. So beneficial ownership has a concept that, on paper, you may be the owner, but on the backside, so RBI has issued a circular that any fund in India coming beyond 10%, you have to have your beneficial owner's name and their KYC. So we fought a lot of cases with RBI. So imagine I have a company in Cayman Island. I mean, I hope you guys have heard this name, Cayman Island. So it's a tax haven countries. Everybody wants to enter India through tax haven countries. I put my company in Cayman. I invest in India. So if RBI or income tax goes only to Cayman Island, they will never find out who is the ultimate beneficial owner. So they lift the corporate well, and they said, whoever is owning that Cayman Island entity, we need the names of them. So generally you have a couple of big players, like big companies, incorporating companies, unka KYC dena is very easy. But what happens when there is a small players or individuals? So imagine Dawood Ibrahim going to Cayman Island and putting his money on an individual basis. So आपकी company में XYZ में लगा दिया. Nobody can trace that company ki who is Dawood Ibrahim and who. So in those kind of concept, money is routing in a lot of politicians in India. They send their money outside, black money, hawala money, or a lot of people had accounts in Switzerland, Liechtenstein, and all those kind of things. And then they routed the money back into India and put it into businesses. I did a transaction for 1,800 crore rupees in place like Bhopal, where 1,800 crore money came from UK, showing that a company is investing. But when you go on the backside or behind the company, you will see that those same people who got the money of 1,800 crore rupees in Bhopal company, they were the same people, but they had this structuring and lot of companies in between. That, like, same thing happened with Vijay Mallya. I mean, Nirav Modi. So all this, they had so many companies to transfer money from India to other countries, to low-lying countries, or UK. I mean, UK has become a heaven for all these big guys. I mean, Nirav Modi is in UK, Lalit Modi is in UK, Aapka Vijay Mallya is in UK. So it has become heaven. So they will send those money to UK, buy property, so they have not become poor. I mean, if you talk about Vijay Mallya's wealth today also, it has multiplied. But his companies has gone for toss. His father started, and now he sold that company. So coming back again on e-commerce supply, so 2020 expanded. This is just an example that Mr. Yash, a resident of India, entering into transaction with non-resident and e-commerce operator sold. So these are things that we generally do on day-to-day basis, right? I mean, you can relate to yourself. These are the things you are doing through your mobile. Example, same thing. Exclusion of acquisition levy. The nonsense. So you can guys read, or you want me to take you through? Because we have less time. Due dates for payment, I mean, I think this is not required. Hi, please. Ha, please.
Section 10, subsection 50 tells us
So section 10 subsection 50 tells is an exemption for equalization levy, right? So as I understand, equalization levy is not in the Income Tax Act but in the Finance Act, section 165. And DTAs don't get covered, equalization levy doesn't get covered under DTAs because it's not in the Income Tax Act. But then doesn't section 10 subsection 50 make that link into the Income Tax Act so you can claim DTA benefits on equalization levy?
No,
It's a long shot. But
So, see, when you're dealing with such kind of scenario before coming up equalization levy, what kind of income do you think would be named as? Anybody? A guess? Wild guess?
business income? Business income?
Sorry?
Business income.
No. Because you're not doing business, you're not incorporated in a country. So imagine, मैं आपको एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल देता हूँ. पहले कोई सॉफ्टवेयर खरीदते थे आप, तो what kind of payment do you pay to those software companies? So what is it called? Licensing fee is good, but what is it called?
Loyalty. Royalty.
Royalty, right? So if you're using, so see this Apple phone, there's a software upgrade every time. Laptop, you go and buy a software. So Indian entity, you go and make the payment on the shelf or by buying online. 500 रुपये 1000 2000 5000 जो भी आता है उसका आपने दिया. अब जो इंडियन एंटिटी से जो आपने खरीदा है, how will, because this is not license, this is license model. So Indian entity, even Google के भी Indian entity will take it on license, right? कि आप मेरे को, because it's very expensive to buy those, and you can make copy from these people, these things, right? I mean, you buy your MS Office software, and I think now you can use in 6 laptops or something like that, right? So it gives you license. So when a legal entity like Oracle software, you're buying Oracle software for India for your personal use or official use, then Oracle India entity has an agreement with US Oracle, and they are making payment to them in terms of royalty. So you are using my brand name, you are using my innovation, and then you are paying taxes on those. So that is royalty, FTS, fee for technical services, all those technical things happens. Whereas this levy was specifically that, anything apart from that. See, there is royalty still exists. Fee for technical services still exists. If you're dealing with those kind of services, you're still liable to pay, and royalty is again, there are thousands of judgment on royalties. Royalty, because royalty again under DTA is 10%. Income tax, अगर आप business से आपने बोला business income. So if you prove that it's your business income, then you have to pay 30%. Right? So nobody want to pay 30% vis-a-vis 10%. So that's why a lot of litigation happen. Furnished interest and all, penalty. If you do not comply, there are penal provisions which are given in the levy. Recent pronouncements, High Court held that a tax refund is a refund of taxes when the tax liability is less than the tax paid. The assessee, having paid taxes pursuant to special order passed by the assessing officer when the amount is refunded, should carry. These are all Indian tax paid. Google Singapore, Google. So see, this is again Google kind of thing, tribunal decision. So I'll just like last. So another 10 minutes. So with the introduction of this levy, India joins the league of various other countries with similar levies for providing equal opportunities to the domestic business. So why levy? So see, if I am doing business in India, I am liable to pay taxes, right? And somebody doing business operating from outside, they are not paying taxes, right? So there is a big litigation going on with Amazon and retail chain also. I don't know if you guys read newspapers, associations, or a trader association. There are a lot of litigation because if I am a trader or if I am a business doing business in India and I set up a shop in a mall, I incur a lot of cost, right? I incur lease cost, bijli, pani, and all those kind of things we have to pay. Whereas this kind of model, there is no shop. They have these warehouses, big warehouses. You order, they know that somebody from Sonipat has ordered. So their local warehouses will approach you. They will deliver the goods, and the cost of operating is very less as compared. अब दिल्ली में आप किसी बड़े मॉल में लो, या चंडीगढ़ में किसी बड़े मॉल में लो, the rent itself will kill you. And if you're not making business, so this is just to bring in pally with the local traders that if I'm doing business in India, if I'm doing the same thing, e-commerce or advertisement, you are charging me. And foreign companies, just because they do not have their base, you're not charging. So this was the domestic concept. This was discussed by BEPS also, that every country has the right for equal and all those kind of things. The only country which opposed this kind of taxes globally is the US. Because all the big tech giants are born out of US. So US would always want, less taxes in other less taxes in more other countries. So that's why US is the only country which has opposed so far. Okay? In order to broaden the scope of the levy beyond advertisement, the government extended the scope in Finance Act, and I told you, advertising 6%, e-commerce supply. So they broadened in 2020, and now there is a talk that government want to get away from these taxes also. I mean, this levy also. I mean, I don't know. We'll see the future, but right now government is getting a good revenue. I mean, recently they have, like, I think, collected 4,000 crore rupees from just 2% from a lot of foreign companies. So I think, yeah, any question from anybody? Or nobody understood the concept? Yeah, Friday evening, yeah, tomorrow I hope you don't have classes tomorrow. So this is the last thing to give on Friday. Uske baad you want to play football, I'm happy to join you. Guys, किसी को कुछ नहीं या तो समझ नहीं आया या फिर हाँ प्लीज हाँ भाई पूछो बिल्कुल I'm happy to दो यार
This is a very basic question,
please.
but I still do not understand what exactly is the point of equalization levy. Because, for example, if a foreign company is selling something for 100 rupees in India, I am already paying, say, for example, I'm paying 10 rupees tax on it, indirect tax, but I'm paying tax nonetheless. So I'm already paying 10 rupees on that 100 rupees item to the government. The government is already getting revenue from that. What is the point of implementing an additional levy on it?
Okay. So you talking about this 10% on Indian companies or foreign companies?
On a foreign company, say,
Which foreign company? Give me example.
for example, if Netflix is selling its service in India and I am paying 18% tax on it, I'm not sure if this is a correct example, it's just off the top of
But
my
how are
head.
you paying 18% tax on Netflix?
Sorry, sir, this is just an example.
No, I'm just thinking, we also want to understand. I mean, even if you or me are wrong, it's fine.
Okay.
Right? So how is Netflix paying taxes in India, 18%?
I am paying tax to the government.
How are you paying taxes on government?
For example, out of the 1,000 rupees that they're selling to me, 18% of it, say 180 rupees as entertainment tax, I am sending it to the
So
government.
that is GST.
Yes, GST.
Right? So GST is an indirect tax, this is direct tax, right? So even imagine you're paying 18% tax. So 18% is indirect tax, GST. GST is very separate from direct. So even if you're paying from Netflix, you're not paying any taxes. Netflix is not paying any taxes in India. Direct tax. That 18% is GST. That comes under your bill that but on see, there are two kind of taxes. Basic of tax, direct, indirect. What is direct, what is indirect?
Under indirect, you can basically shift your burden to somebody else, while direct is something that directly accrues upon that person and has to be paid to the government.
So the indirect taxes is that, you are not responsible for paying that taxes. So imagine you go for a movie, you buy a ticket, there is a GST. पहले VAT होता था, service tax होता था, वो सब 2017 new concept came GST. So now any supply of goods or services, मैं अगर ये phone खरीदता हूँ तो 18% there is a different slabs, right? 28% is the highest. जो मतलब रिच के लिए होता है, मतलब कि कोई exclusive services ले रहे हो आप, जैसे air condition खरीद रहे हो, that is for your comfort. That is not a basic necessity. So indirect tax also, the rates come on the concept of the requirement, the need. I mean, if it's for mass goods, it's 5% or 0%. When it's a luxury, like you go to a 5-star hotel, that's your luxury. It's not your mandate. You can survive without a 5-star hotel, right? Or you go to a club after like Friday, Saturday, right? You can survive without going to a club. So those are a luxury. So they will generally be like liquor you buy. I mean, I hope I can discuss all this. So liquor has the highest tax, and that's why it's more expensive in different states. Yeah, please.
So, sir, my question is that I feel this concept is something similar to transfer pricing, right? You are taxing a foreign entity on.
Transfer pricing is completely altogether a different concept.
Okay.
Transfer pricing is that, what is transfer pricing? Transfer pricing is when you are dealing with related parties.
Right.
Transfer pricing is transaction between related parties. So imagine you and me are concerned company.
Okay.
I am Google US, you are Google India. India has more taxes. Or imagine I put a in between entity in Ireland. So US में 30%, India में effective tax comes to around 41%. If you calculate everything, right? कहने के लिए वो 30% है, but effective tax comes. मैंने बीच में Ireland खोल दिया. I supply goods to Irish company. Irish company supplies goods to you. ठीक है? I supply, he is unknown person. So I am supplying that good to him at a different rate and to you at a different rate, right? So to have more profit out of you. So मैं अगर मान लो आपको 100 रुपए की चीज़ मैं आपको 500 में दूंगा, ताकि आप क्या करोगे 500 को इंडिया में 700 में बेचोगे. So 700 में 200 आपका प्रॉफिट है, 500 रुपया प्रॉफिट बाहर की कंपनी को, because you have to pay. So that 500 will be come as an expense in your balance sheet. So you are left with 200, taxation of 200 only, whereas you make an income of 700. So this is base erosion. So transfer pricing talks about arm's length transactions, right? That if you're having transaction with related parties, you have to give the same price for goods or services like you're giving to a X person. And there is a comparability. There is a comparative 5 ways of compare those transfer pricing. So so transfer pricing is only restricted to related parties. So any related party doing business across the globe have to pay taxes according to that. Whereas this levy is like I'm doing anything, Amazon, Google, Netflix, anything I'm doing. So it's not related party, right? So this is the biggest difference between this levy and transfer pricing. Anybody from the behind, backside? नहीं समझ आया भाई. Black T-shirt. What's your name? Blue, black. Yeah. What's your name? Sorry. Okay. So did you understand? Mic दे देना, please. इसके बाद बाहर मिलेंगे. Don't worry. We'll meet outside also. नहीं, I want to hear you. You've got a beautiful voice. हाँ, please.
Very bad with the mic.
नहीं. I can't hear you. Try at least, try. क्या समझ आया, नहीं समझ आया? One takeaway from this levy. One takeaway or one thing that you learned. Yeah, you didn't learn anything. Mic, please. ऐसा मत करो दोस्त. I can come out the backside also. At least one pointer in the मतलब 1.5 घंटे से मैं बोले जा रहा हूँ.
Sir, I've got few insights.
Few, I want only one insight. Leave apart few.
I've learned what is equalization and the role
Very
of
good.
equalization.
And what is it? You only said that you learned, right? So please, I mean, even if you are wrong in layman language, I am fine, but at least one learning. I mean, it will make me proud. I was also always used to sit at the backside. I used to sleep. So at least one point to make me proud.
So providing opportunities for the domestic businesses and equal opportunities for.
So what is the percentage of equalization levy? In 2016 and 2020. बस ये बता दो आप.
So it is not sure, but it is somewhere around 6%.
Not sure, but 6%. And what about 2020? नहीं, वो भी sure नहीं. Nobody should whisper.
It is somewhere around 8 to 10, sir.
8 to 10. What's your evening plan?
I have a couple of papers to
Papers?
submit.
On Friday evening? No,
Yes,
come
sir.
on.
One today and the other one is on Monday.
Monday. So tomorrow you are free, right? So I should come back again tomorrow? And I think there is an event at your college tomorrow and I have been invited. Yeah, this side. Somebody was asking something. हाँ भाई बताओ. So it's 6% and 2%. Yeah.
So I had two questions.
Three,
First
yeah.
one, I saw prosecution regarding equalization levy. I was curious how that gets implemented because I know in TDS they ask for a principal officer, then they issue assessee by default 201 or something. But I guess that procedure is very invalid here, right? Because the entity itself is not in India. That was my first doubt. And secondly, I was hoping to know what your thoughts are on the global minimum tax 15%. I was hoping to know what your thoughts are.
Okay. So first of all, what is prosecution? Anybody? Prosecution? What it brings in your mind? Ha, bhai? No? You done? Okay. Anybody from this side? What is prosecution? I want somebody else to answer. What is prosecution? Ha, bhai. What's your name? Yeah. You had a good sleep?
No, I wasn't sleeping.
You
but,
wasn't?
like,
Okay, sorry. I thought you were
prosecution
sleeping.
is
So.
Essentially, the side that represents the state in any matter, in any criminal
So
matter.
what is
I would say.
prosecution in income tax?
So, like, if there is a defaulter, the person who's again prosecuting.
So
him-
that's what I want to know. What is
yeah.
prosecuting?
The lawyer who essentially represents the state in matters
The
of.
concept of, I'm not talking about the lawyer prosecuting. Obviously, it will be prosecuted by a lawyer. But what is the concept of prosecution?
Like, that's the only explanation I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
So prosecution means criminalization of income tax. Right? Earlier, what was the provision that, you pay penalty or interest on income tax and you get away. So if somebody is defaulted in payment of taxes or trying to avoid, you pay certain amount of tax, penalty up to 300% and you get away. Now income tax has started going into prosecution mode. That you don't pay taxes, I'll prosecute your senior officials, your KMP, key managerial persons like managing director, chairman and all those kind of people. So they have hired tax lawyers. And recently I interviewed by income tax and my name has gone as a public prosecutor. So, with God grace in the next few months, I'll be representing government before High Court, Delhi, in prosecuting those people under income tax cases. So it brings fear. Nobody wants to go to jail. So if I prosecute and if you are, held liable, then paying money would not be the recourse. You have to go to the, so everybody wants get away, they are scared of, like ED. Why people are scared of ED? Because see Kejriwal, non-political statement again, yeah. But he avoided 8 summons and now he's in jail. So nobody, people like you and me would want to go to jail. So it brings, so then when they start prosecution, you are scared and you sit with income tax and say, okay, whatever is your calculation, you compound it, make the payment, and I'm ready. So people are now going more and this is all online. A lot of things have gone online. So every record, earlier I don't know if you heard a statement that Modi ji when he came in 2014, he made a statement that, people are showing 10 lakh rupees income in a year and they have 4 Fortuner at home. Right? So how is that possible? 4 Fortuner मतलब 40 लाख का एक Fortuner. Right? So 1.6 crore के तो गाड़ी है और आपकी income 10 lakh की है. So now any payment made beyond 2 lakh, even if you go to big shops like jewelry shop, any payment made beyond 50,000, you have to show your PAN card to keep a track of your entire revenue and based on your expenditure. I can see if you're wearing 5 lakh ka watch and you're showing that you have 5 lakh ka income. How is it possible? So black money, a lot of things our government is doing. So these are, prosecution is concept of that. So anything else we can talk offline. Whoever is interested, right? Because I think I've taken enough time of everybody. Hanji, I think it's good. Thank you once again, everyone, and I hope you take one point. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for a wonderful session. As we come towards the end of this program, I would like to thank everyone in the audience, everyone in the live audience from the YouTube, and also Professor Sana Javed, the Assistant Director for CCIT, for trusting me with this opportunity of being the moderator. And I thank everyone present here in the room. Thank you so much.